Welcome to Fortyborn, the Limited Lorcana podcast. We're a gaming veteran.
And a gaming novice.
Discuss all things Lorcana.
Lorcana.
With a focus on limited formats, we cover set reviews, strategy guides, and stuff that nobody asked for.
Let's move on from that intro together.
Yeah, we record episodes back to back, so I still have my Batman voice.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
This tea's going to help me get through it.
It sounds kind of mysterious.
Where is she?
I'm sorry. It's just one of my favorite scenes of all time.
That's my favorite movie.
Of all time?
Of all time.
Wow. Not a bad choice, but that's a funny scene.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that it's perfect.
No, I mean funny in a good way.
Yeah. Well, wait, what's your favorite movie? I should know this.
Of all time?
Let me guess. Stop. Is it a movie I've heard of, or is it like some silent French film?
I don't have a favorite movie of all time.
Okay, that's actually a very Taylor answer.
It's too hard. There's too many good ones.
All right.
Yeah.
Would The Dark Knight be in contention?
It's very good. That's an
Okay.
incredible movie. That's one that somehow I can always just like throw on at any point in time. It's like a very good, this seems weird, it's like a good fall asleep movie to me, especially because the first scene is like that bank robbery. I don't know why, but it's like...
That's alarming.
Yeah. Well, don't analyze it too much.
I won't. Yeah, Dark Knight's great.
Mm-hmm.
What were we talking about? Nothing yet.
Yep.
We're talking about keto today.
KETO. Your favorite trendy diet.
Yeah.
Is it still trendy?
Are there diets that are not trendy?
Well, I don't know. I feel like they like come in and out, right? Like there's like a diet. Everyone's trying to do this thing. Like, what was that one?
Well, right now the trendy diet's Ozempic.
I don't even know what that means.
That's like where you give yourself shots in the stomach and you just don't like eating anymore.
No, I don't like that at all.
Oh.
It doesn't sound like a diet.
I'm not a doctor, but a lot of people are losing a lot of weight.
Don't do that at home unless you've seen your doctor. Talk to your doctors.
Yeah, our advice: talk to your doctor.
Yeah, get a doctor.
Don't get weight loss advice from
Podcasts.
a Lorcana podcast,
Especially this one.
Yeah, especially this one. Yeah, I was keto for like 15 minutes one time. A buddy of mine lost a bunch of weight doing it, and like very quickly, because keto's where you don't eat sugar.
That's the one.
Super, super low carb. So you can just eat like a pound of bacon for breakfast and still be keto.
Love that.
Yeah, so I was in when I heard that.
Yeah.
So I was like, sick. I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So then we went to lunch so my first meal for keto, we went to like a burrito bowl type place.
Nice.
Not Chipotle, but hey, if you're willing to sponsor,
We'll go there.
I can change it to Chipotle. But this was not Chipotle. And I started making my bowl, and he was like, "Oh, you can't get black beans."
Oh. Why? Because of the keto? You told him you were keto.
Apparently, it has too many carbs for keto.
Wow.
Because like there's a cap, and black beans, won't take you over that cap, but it's like it will push you in that direction.
It'll get you there.
I'm not interested in a diet where I can't have beans.
Yeah.
I don't even like beans that much. It's just the principle.
I was gonna say that's your you're like, no beans, I'm out.
Well, it's like,
You're really a bean guy.
well, I mean, I don't know, man. It's like you can have a stick of butter and a pound of bacon for breakfast, but I can't have black beans with my lunch.
That is weird, yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't feel right.
Is keto this 30-day thing? Is that keto? Or what am I thinking of? You know that one?
No. I don't know anything about 30 days.
Yeah, well, forget it.
That's Ozempic.
30 days of shots to the gut.
No. Yeah, so that's when I was keto for about 15 minutes. I gave up in that moment. When he said you can't have black beans, I was like, nah, load me up. Give me rice. I'm not doing keto. I'll lose weight.
Double it, he said.
In other ways.
Double the beans.
Double beans, double rice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did you get a favorite Christmas? Did you have a favorite Christmas present this gift? Did you? Gosh. Did you have a favorite present this Christmas?
Yeah, I was trying to think of what that could be. I think the game, or the thing that I'm playing the most right now that I got, is the game Hogwarts Legacy for PlayStation 5.
Who got you that?
Julia got me that.
Nice.
In my stocking. It was great. It's a fun game. Brings you back to Hogwarts, doing spells and stuff. I got a lot of problems with J.K. Rowling I won't get into on this podcast, but the game's great. It's fun. It's like a big world. It's the whole
Can you
world.
do the illegal spells?
We can't.
Avada
We
Kedavra?
can't. Don't, Jake, don't You can't say it, dude.
Well,
Don't say it on the pod.
But can you do those on the game?
Not yet. I haven't tried. I think you can, but you get like they report it. You start getting reported to like your headmaster and stuff.
Snitches.
Yeah.
Hey, snitches.
Snitches. Yeah.
Wow.
What about you? Did you get a favorite gift? And why is it me on the podcast?
Well, one of my favorite gifts is the spotted cow painting you got me.
That is classic. Just nice.
Sky, I guess podcast update. Sky is pregnant.
Woo!
Yeah, you knew it. So
yeah, I did.
Stop.
But they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't. So Sky is pregnant. Coming in June sometime, and you got me to decorate the nursery a painting of our favorite beer.
Yeah, dude, because there's a cow on it. You know, nurseries, animals. There's a cow on the beer.
Yeah.
So is Sky gonna let you put it in the nursery?
I promise you, she won't notice if I put it in the nursery. If we set up the nursery and then 2 weeks later I hang it on the wall, she's not gonna notice.
She'll never know. I think it would look nice.
I think so too.
Maybe we can put like a picture up in the Discord once this episode comes out or something, just so they can see, and then we can get a vote.
Yeah.
Should it go in the nursery?
Well,
but it will.
You know what to do, fans. One of them messaged me and was like, "Do you and Taylor like beer?" And I was like, we have to actively restrain ourselves from talking about that on this family-friendly podcast.
Say less. That's great.
You think I'm sipping on tea every episode?
No, we are. We are, though.
Oh, this one I definitely am. All right, well, this is a part of our series where we talk about improving our game. And one of the steps is keto.
Keto.
Level 1, sort of, card evaluation 101 is bread.
Bread we talked about last week, yep.
And then now we're talking about keto.
Mm-hmm.
So keto is another framework to evaluate cards to help you build good draft decks.
Nice.
It's also helpful in sealed, but mainly in the context of draft.
Yeah.
And it was created by Marshall Sutcliffe and Luis Scott Vargas on their podcast, Limited Resources, for Magic the Gathering.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to explain it as they did, and then I'll also sort of try to connect it to Lorcana a bit and why I like it a little bit more than bread.
Whoa.
But it's still not like... I would still... Level 1, bread. Level 2, keto, and then we'll keep progressing. Again, and I'm not saying like this is a sequential thing. If you like the concept of keto more than bread as a card evaluation framework, great, roll with that. This is about giving our listeners the tools that they need to feel confident when they sit down to draft.
Yeah.
And like that?
That's what we all need.
Sick. Okay. This acronym, keto, was made as a response to bread basically falling out of popularity in the world of Magic the Gathering.
Sad day.
A little bit of history. I mean, bread was made as a framework probably 15 years ago, maybe longer.
Mm-hmm.
And the game of Magic has evolved a lot in that time period, and bread just doesn't really fit modern drafting in Magic.
Okay.
5 years from now in Lorcana, it's going to look very different than it does now. And none of this might even be relevant.
True.
Maybe when locations come out and Into the Inklands, it breaks everything, and we now have to add an L somewhere into bread.
Where would you put it? Breld.
Brella.
Brelad.
No, I would just remove the D.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's just sort of a catch-all anyways.
Yeah, true.
But, yeah, so keto was made as a response to that to try to give a more modern take on drafting in Magic.
I think the keto diet was also made in response to bread. So
yeah, maybe. Maybe. I don't know anything about keto history.
Me neither.
But in this context, I think that keto inherently fits Lorcana a little bit more. I had to do some adjusting of that bread acronym in our last episode.
But yeah.
I feel pretty good about keto, just like as is.
What we're trying to say is no curse words coming this episode.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
You're safe.
Yeah, so keto. Keto. Again, I didn't say this till almost the end of last episode. This is meant to be in order of importance. So when you're looking at a pack, the first thing you should look for is the letter K, which is kill spells.
Okay.
Then E, which is efficient characters.
Mm-hmm.
T, which stands for top end. And O, which stands for other.
The rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll go letter by letter. Kill spells.
Take it away.
This is just removal.
Oh.
Yeah. We've talked about removal.
Yeah, we have.
But what they talk about, and the reason that I think keto is a little bit more of a level up when compared to bread, is there's a little bit more context here. Because, like, not all removal spells are created equal. Like, let's say that they made a 10 ink card that said banish target character.
Mm-hmm.
That is unconditional removal that I think is unplayable.
Okay.
Because it's too expensive, right?
Yeah.
But something like Dragonfire, you pay 5 ink to banish any character. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So not all removal spells or kill spells in this framework are created equal.
Okay.
So this is also why Ring the Bell is better than World's Greatest Criminal Mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because like unconditional removal is better than conditional removal.
Yes.
Ring the Bell and World's Greatest Criminal Mind both have conditions on them, but the conditions are much easier to meet for Ring the Bell.
Okay.
Because Ring the Bell is pay 3, banish target damaged character.
Okay. Just gotta be damaged.
Yeah, World's Greatest Criminal Mind is pay 3, banish target character with 5 or more strength. There's just more damaged characters in games of limited than there are characters with 5 or more strength.
Okay.
So you can take this concept of kill spells and expand on it a little bit to say not just any kill spell. It's mostly focused on kill spells that are well statted. Meaning inkable is better than uninkable.
Mm-hmm.
Unconditional is better than conditional.
Yep.
Cheaper is better than more expensive.
Wonderful.
And if it draws a card, that's a plus.
Oh yeah, always a plus.
Yeah. So that's not really related to this, but I think that's why I think that Let the Storm Rage On is my favorite removal spell in limited. I'm not definitively saying it's the best, but I could make a case because it is uninkable, which is unfortunate, but it costs 3 and it's a song, which is really good.
Really good, I mean.
No, songs are great because you don't have to pay the 3 always.
Yeah.
And then it's deal 2 damage and draw a card.
Okay.
So it's just super efficient.
Yeah.
Super efficient because you get to deal 2 damage and it replaces itself.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't lose that card advantage.
Yeah,
you're just
still
paying the cost, and you don't even have to pay the cost. You can just tap a character.
Right, because of the song.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as you can see, keto, there's a little bit more depth to it. Because,
right, you have to think about it a little more.
Yeah, kill spells, we're not just saying
all of them. Grab
anything that says banish or deal direct damage. We're saying some of them are better than others, and some of them are just frankly not playable.
Right.
Like World's Greatest Criminal Mind, I'll play it. I'll include it in my deck, but it's probably going to be ink most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm not going to first pick that.
Right.
Whereas I would first pick Let the Storm Rage On over a lot of the rare cards in the set.
Yeah.
Like it's great in any deck.
Nice.
You tracking?
I am. That's the kill spells.
All right. Sorry. We'll cut it. I'm just lying.
We won't cut it.
I ain't cutting it. All right. K, kill spells. E is efficient characters.
Okay. What would you consider an efficient character?
Yeah. So that's why keto gets a little bit more complicated because you have to know what an efficient character is, right?
Yeah. I can't just hear that and be like, oh, obviously Aladdin.
Yeah. So efficient characters are characters that are worth the ink it costs to play them. Okay. What I mean by that is, what do I expect to get when I spend 3 ink? Does it at least meet that criteria?
Mm-hmm.
So in Magic, I know that we're getting the bad reviews.
Oof.
There's a thing called the vanilla test, and they've like basically people have quantified, because we have thousands of cards, quantified the vanilla characters, and basically given them like the expected stats for that mana level.
Okay. Oh,
so
okay, yeah.
When I pay 2 mana, I should get at least 4 points worth of stats. Like if I pay 2 mana, I should get something with 2 strength and 2 defense, or 2 attack and 2 defense.
Yeah.
And then what if it has flying? or what if it has vigilance? Like, these are keywords in Magic.
Right.
Then they assign points to flying and vigilance, and you can add up those points and like rank cards accordingly.
So that exists. There's like a thing somewhere it says this is this, this
Yeah.
is this. Okay.
And you can get super technical with that. And I think that eventually I would like to do an episode on the vanilla test because I think it's helpful
For Lorcana.
for Lorcana.
Yeah.
But right now we don't have enough cards to do that.
Okay, yeah.
Like, we only have 408 cards. That's not enough data to quantify
To make an accurate vanilla test for you to use across the board.
You need years worth of data.
Years.
Well, I mean, because they're releasing 800 cards a year,
Yeah.
and not all of those are vanilla.
Look for that test. Look for that episode in 2027, guys.
Yeah, 2027, new episode dropping. It's gonna feature our child. So
Not our child. Maybe.
well, it takes a village. When it has problems, it'll talk to you. Vanilla test. So we can't do that just yet, but we can approximate it,
Yeah.
right? So this is a part of where KETO gives you an acronym, but it also encourages you to get better at evaluating cards on your own.
Yeah.
So here's how I think we should how we should define efficient characters in Lorcana. You have to compare the stats to the same cost, preferably in the same color, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in limited, thankfully. So if I pay 3 for a character that can gain 1 lore, I expect it to have a 3/4 stat line.
Okay.
Because you pay 3 for a 3/4/1. That's the normal vanilla.
So a 3/3/4 would be considered an efficient character.
If it gains 1 lore.
1 lore.
But what if it gains 2?
Then it's super efficient.
Then it's extremely efficient.
Nice.
Because now you're picking it up.
Yeah, so now as long as you can just know the basic stat line for 1, 2, 3, 4, those cards.
The breakpoints. Just look at the vanillas. And then you also need to decide for yourself what particular keywords are worth, right?
Right,
For like French
like-
vanillas. Because let's say, for example, Ray. Like, if we compare Ray, who you pay 5 for a 3/3/3 with evasive, versus Tiana, she's also green. You pay 5 for a 5/3/3. That's vanilla.
Yeah.
What's the difference between them? Like, I have Ray at a B+, but I have Tiana at a C+. Why? Because everything's the same except for we're trading 2 points of strength to gain evasive.
Evasive. Yeah.
And to me, that trade is super worth it.
Yeah.
So that's why he's a B+, right? Like, what if he was a 1/1 that quested for 3? Well, then I would say pay 5 for a 1/1 that quests for 3 that has evasive. That's not a B+.
You're trading quite a bit then, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to. It's almost, I don't want to say personal preference, because eventually we'll be able to sort of calculate this more, but the goal is to get you to a point to where you can figure this stuff out for yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is subjective. When you're building a deck, there's not always a perfect, clear answer. Sometimes there is.
Right.
But how do you value bodyguard? How many points of extra willpower makes bodyguard worth it? These are questions that we don't know for sure yet. We're all just sort of going off of our gut.
Yeah.
And it sort of changes from set to set.
True.
But for now, we can still consider the concept of efficient characters to mean look at the vanilla and then determine if it's
better.
If it's better.
Yeah.
Better or worse. So there is the sort of the efficient characters.
Yeah.
Another thing to include is if it's inkable or not. Because if you pay 5 for a 5/3 that quests for 3 for Tiana, that's okay. I'm fine with that. But what if it's uninkable? Then the score goes down quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right. So these uninkable, the inkable versus uninkable, it definitely matters when we're talking about character efficiency. If something's uninkable, it better be really good.
Yeah.
To make the cut. All right. That's KE. First we take kill spells, then we take efficient characters.
What comes next?
Top end.
Top end, does that mean like expensive? Like high cost? Top end.
Thank you for riffing so I could drink water or drink some water. Yeah, top end is really important because it's how you win or how you close out games.
Oh, yeah, it's the end
in
game.
Lorcana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can win with a bunch of 2 and 3 cost characters, but it's not super likely.
Yeah.
Because most 5 cost characters can take out 2 or 3 2 cost characters, right?
Right, your late game is going to suffer.
Yeah, so this doesn't necessarily mean you need to get as much top end as you can.
Mm-hmm.
It just means you have to have some.
You have to have some. That's why it's third on the acronym, the acronym.
Exactly. So ideally your top end is efficient characters, but even some of the inefficient 5 and 6 cost characters are still worth picking up.
They're going to be good to have, yeah.
It's better to have bad 5 cost characters than to have no 5 cost characters.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Also, most of the 5 cost characters are good.
Yeah.
So, top end in Lorcana, in my mind, means 5, 6, and 7 cost characters.
Okay.
8 and 9 as well, but I would say you probably shouldn't include 8 and 9 cost characters in your deck unless they're really, really, really good.
Yeah, because you are not likely to get to play them?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And if it's uninkable, I wouldn't even consider it. So, like, I love Grandpappy, but he's not great, mostly because he's uninkable.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Like, he's good. I mean, I'm happy to have him in my deck, especially a healing-based deck. But realistically, he costs 7 and he's uninkable.
So just to clarify in this case, when we're talking top end, we don't mean top end. We mean mid top end.
Well, yeah.
Yeah?
I guess. I mean, it depends how you define top end.
Yeah. I mean, that's how we're choosing to define it, right? Like 5, 6, 7s?
Yeah.
Is that how everyone defines it?
Well, it's the same thing in Magic. Like, there are 12 cost characters, but they're not included in top end because you wouldn't play them in limited.
Right. But I think that, that we should say that.
Mid top end?
No.
Well, chemo doesn't have the same ring to it. So we're going to just say top end instead of mid top end.
You could say Kemto.
I'm not saying Kempt on this podcast.
Oh,
that's for our Georgia fans. All right. So top end is how you close out games. So the reason, and again, I just reiterating this, there are not that many 5, 6, 7 cost characters at the common and uncommon level in Lorcana.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that I really like top end as having its own letter in Lorcana is because you're not going to see these. You need to grab them when you can.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like this, like a good 6 cost character is going to go quick.
Yeah.
And then you might not see another one for the whole draft, literally.
Well, yeah.
So when you see them, you should take them.
Okay.
And if you only get one 7 cost character, you might not even want to play it, because you might just want to stop at 6 ink and don't even get to that point.
You might not get there, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this, it gets subjective, and that's the thing is like these every draft is so situational. You have to learn how to figure this stuff out on your own.
Right.
But this framework is meant to help us learn how to begin learning.
Yeah.
Like without this, you're sort of blindly navigating a sort of scary scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And this is meant to help you get to a point to where you're playing enough games and winning some games and losing some games to where you can get some experience to be like, okay, now I see why this deck was good or why this deck was bad.
Right.
And learn from that.
Check it next to the KETO scale.
Yep. So kill spells, efficient characters, top end, and then O is other.
All the rest.
A little bit of a cop-out.
Yeah. Always is at the end, it sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you wanted to really do one of these, it would need to be like, 10 letters long or whatever.
You'd have to break down that other a lot.
Yeah. So the biggest thing for other is it just means fill out your curve.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'll just give the rough numbers for a curve. These are Frank Karsten's numbers from his articles on TCG Infinite, which we highly recommend. But 3 to 5 1-drops, 7 to 9 2-drops, 7 to 9 3-drops, 5 to 7 4-drops, and 5 to 7 5-drops, and then a couple of 6-drops or higher, and then a handful of action and item cards.
Cool.
So to fill out that curve, you're going to have to grab some stuff that falls into the other category.
Mm-hmm.
Characters that maybe aren't efficient or exciting. If you need more 3-drops, you need 7 to 9. That's kind of a lot. You might have to pass up on that nice 5-drop if you've already got 7 of them.
Yeah. Yep.
And again, these are not hard numbers. I tend to favor more 4 and 5 drops than Frank Karsten does, but I'm not in the Magic Hall of Fame.
No,
So,
not quite.
no, not yet.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day. I hear that when you have a kid, you get a lot more free time.
Yeah, that's when you really pursue your dreams.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So, I'm coming for your Pro Tour 2025. But yeah, so that's one part of other is filling out your curve.
Okay.
Another thing is this also just includes everything else. So like items and actions that aren't kill spells.
Yeah.
So card draw, I would include in other.
Sure.
Card draw is very important.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's something that's kind of missing from Bread and Keto. I think card draw is so important that it should have its own letter.
Oh.
So in our acronym, card draw will be a letter.
Yep.
One day, unless things change. I don't know.
True.
It would also include cantrips. Cantrips are kind of card draw, but stuff like improvise or go the distance. These are kind of common in Lorcana, where it's like a small effect, but you also get to draw a card.
Oh yeah.
On a cheap spell.
Yep.
So those would be included in this category. And then good items. So there's plenty of bad items, but there's some good ones in Rise of the Floodborn, like mouse armor and popsicle. Popsicle isn't any of these things. It's not a kill spell, it's not efficient creature, and it's not top end, but I would love to have one in every one of my limited decks.
Yeah, popsicle's been popsicling off.
Yeah, it has been. Mouse armor's great as well. So that's Keto.
Keto. Easy. I don't know why everyone says it's so hard to do.
Nobody does. I don't think anybody says it's that hard to do. I just think it's a little bit more complicated than Bread. Because how do you explain efficient character to someone that's sitting down for the first time?
Yeah, that's hard.
It's a little bit more of an explanation. But you can make the same argument for Bread. How do you define what a bomb is? I don't know. I just said super rare, legendary.
True, that made it easy.
It's not accurate, but it made it easier.
Everything you heard in the last episode, lies.
I think the best card in the set is Queen of Hearts Sensing Weakness.
Nice.
And she's uncommon.
Well,
So,
there's always an exception to the rule.
yeah. So we're not going to get caught up on the exceptions to the rule.
No.
This is, again, meant to be a launching point for your limited career.
Right.
You got any questions? Do you like Keto or Bread more?
Not a single question. I think it depends what level of the game you're at. I think if you literally are sitting down for the first time or like very early on, I think Bread's more helpful because it's just like takes less thinking. But I think if you have a basic understanding and played a few times, Keto's probably more helpful.
Yeah.
So both.
I think Bread is like first 5 drafts.
Yeah.
And then Keto's like, okay.
And you can, Keto probably is applicable for longer than Bread. Like you can probably use Keto and kind of as a, like you said, a starting point and use it longer.
Yeah, I think Keto has, I agree, more longevity.
Yeah.
Like it'll be useful. And then it'll give you stuff to focus on when you look at a set. Like when I look at a set that's coming out, I'm like, okay, what are the good kill spells?
Yeah.
Let me look at all of them. Okay, there's 8. These are good. Those are bad.
Right.
Efficient characters. Okay. Ray is not exciting, but Ray is incredibly efficient. That's a good thing to know when you're going into your first draft.
Yeah.
That's how you get these sort of, what people say in Magic, mythic commons or uncommons. I guess we could say legendary commons or uncommons.
Yeah.
Where it's like Ray is very first pickable in my opinion. Even though he's common.
Yeah.
I'm not Googling it.
No.
But he's not rare. So that's I like Keto more than Bread. But I think that Bread is still an excellent starting point.
Yeah. Right. Agreed.
Sick. Well, up next, not meaning next week or maybe next week, we're going to talk about quadrant theory.
That's going to be a tough one.
Quadrant theory is I'm really going to rely on some witty input from you to keep people engaged on that one because it's not exciting.
Sounds very heady.
Yeah. So quadrant theory is great. I think
it's not exciting. Get ready for the next episode, guys. You are not gonna find it exciting.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's great. Like it's a good way to evaluate cards. I think it's the best way to evaluate cards. And it definitely it's I think the best way to draft right now,
Wow.
like in terms of thinking about how good a card is for a particular deck, I think quadrant theory is the best way to analyze a card, like in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of different than keto, right?
Yeah.
Keto is like a framework for an overall draft. Quadrant theory is like a next level up to that, where it just focuses in on like the efficiency of a card.
Okay.
So when we say is a card good or bad,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people can intuit that without needing to talk about this, but this framework is helpful for people to learn
How to do that.
how to do that on their own.
Yeah. Should I bring a pen and paper? Should I do homework?
We both know that you won't use your pen and paper, but you can bring it.
I won't.
You don't really strike me as a note taker in class.
No. Didn't
Yeah.
enjoy that.
Yeah. I also think that, I've looked at what we have between now and into the Inklands.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming up.
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
quick.
Fast.
Like the end of February.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, time moves.
So I think we're going to try to have do some guest episodes with
Mm-hmm.
some creators that we like. I want to do some episodes about like math stuff. Try to
Nice.
make that as interesting as possible.
More exciting stuff to come.
Yeah. Like, we're trying to help beginners improve.
Yes.
And everybody get better and more confident at limited.
Mm-hmm. And in life.
Yeah. And in life. And sometimes you just got to talk about the numbers.
Right. Sometimes.
Yeah. Like, it's okay for me to be 5'9".
Yeah, that's fine, dude.
It's okay.
Like, you don't have to talk about it every day. Like, it's
No,
fine.
it's fine. I wouldn't mind being 5'10", but
No.
it is the way it is. Are you 6 foot?
I always say 5'11", but I think I'm technically 6 foot. It just feels weird to say 6 foot even,
So you have the opposite problem of most men.
I don't feel like I bring 6 foot energy to a room,
I don't know. You're pretty lanky.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I've been on that keto.
We both know that's not true.
No.
Beer's not keto.
Oh. Well then.
I'm out. So, do you want to? We had some listener questions.
Yes.
Do you want to? There was one that was directed towards you. That
Yeah.
we wanted to talk about.
I think a very old question, but we haven't answered it, so I do want to answer it.
Yeah, we answered most of the ones like in the Discord. Again, if you want to ask us questions or if you just want to talk to anyone about limited, they host drafts in there. They
There's a lot going on.
do
a lot of
picks.
different channels.
Yeah, there's a lot of different channels. Constructed talk, not just limited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have a listener questions channel, and we've answered all of them at this point, either in the on the podcast or in the Discord, except for this one. So
Yes. From
it's
Trent, can you read it off for us?
yeah, I'll read it for you, because it's directed towards you.
There
Also
she-
for Taylor, with the limited exposure you've had to CCGs, do you think it's a genre you'd explore again if it had the right IP? If not, do you think you'd like cooperative LCGs better, something like Arkham Horror, which is a more traditional blend of card and board game? So, for our listeners at home that don't know what some of those acronyms mean, CCG is collectible card game, like Lorcana or Magic or Pokemon. IP is intellectual property, like Disney or Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then LCGs are limited card games, meaning like in general you just buy like everything at once. So you buy Arkham Horror and you get all of the Arkham Horror cards that you need to play the game, and then you can buy expansions later, but you don't like buy packs and collect them.
Yeah. Great
Okay.
question. So I do love the idea of CCGs in regards of like actually collecting. Like I love the different cards, the new cards, everything like that. But I just can't, like, I think what's always hard about that for me is continuing to pay money. Like Marvel Snap's fun for me, and my favorite part about that game sometimes is just seeing what new cards I get, but I don't have to pay for that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I have in my head like what the right IP would be. Like it's really hard to think about what like genre of card I think would be cool. So I think in that regard, I love cooperative games. The older I get, I love co-op games. Like I just think it's so much more fun to get a group of people all trying to do the same thing. And it is easier to digest getting a game that's like, all right, card, board game, everything came together. I can buy more if I want, but I don't have to.
Yeah.
So like on a day-to-day level, I think like LCGs fit what I enjoy doing more. But but I do enjoy CCGs. I just don't know what the IP would be. I would love to hear what people think is what a great IP would be for them to like get really into something.
Yeah.
Or what's missing, because I'm sure there's stuff out there that hasn't been done.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know what it is.
There used to be a WWE CCG.
Sick.
Bring it back.
That would be really fun to see, actually.
Yeah.
And I loved WWE as a kid, man.
Yeah. I mean, you can still get the cards and stuff. I don't know if there's still a scene for it, but it was pretty big, I think, in the 90s.
Yeah, for sure.
But that was when they were making, they still make a lot of trading card games, but they were really cranking them out in the late 90s.
They were hot back then.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
I got a ton of Pokemon cards in my house I haven't looked through in like years. I bet something cool's in there.
I think everyone thinks that.
I think I believe it, though.
Oh, okay.
I'll bring him over. I need a Pokemon card evaluator. Like, who? Do you know anyone?
No.
Okay, well.
But you have the internet.
It's so hard. I don't want to do it on my own.
Oh, well.
I just want to get someone the box and have them do it.
If you're in our Discord and you know anything about Pokemon cards and you're willing to do the basic legwork on behalf of Taylor, let us know.
It'd be really appreciated.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it for this one. We did some listener questions, and we're looking forward to what's going on between now and End of the Inklands.
Yeah. Ask more questions in Discord. I think we have answered a lot, so ask more.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's fun. Hop in there and hang out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have any other news, do we?
Not that I know of.
Cool. Follow us on Twitter. Check us out on YouTube.
It's good to be back.
It is good to be back. It's good to be back recording. It's good to be back working, or just like in the normal routine of life again.
Yeah, definitely.
And football season's coming to an end, so I guess we should actually talk about Lorgana now.
Yeah, darn.
That's unfortunate. Hey, March Madness is right around the corner.
Oh man.
Bye, y'all.
See ya.
Thank you.